attitude's ruthless, aggressively speaking, so let's do this. With Ryan and Denton, they here to get your attention. The 5-star broadcast, shit, start to the ending. Whether it's the E or it's all E, the two dudes with the attitudes to bring the heat. Get the point, yeah, it's on, time to lock in. Listen to the podcast where they get it poppin'.
It's Two Dudes with an Attitude, a wrestling podcast with your boy Ryan Enjoys Wrestling and the Heartbreak Dude Denton. And this is our WWE edition, y'all. So we're going to talk all things SmackDown, Monday Night Raw, and the return of One Mommy, and NXT, plus some segments and a new created segment by yours truly, Ryan Enjoys Wrestling.
Right.
Not yours truly, but yours truly. You know what I mean.
Right.
You know what I mean. Yes.
Yeah.
So as always, so welcome back. How you feeling? You good? You ready? We're on track this week.
Yeah, I think so. I think we're at a good spot. We got highs and lows later this episode, so
curious
to see what we have to say, and then can't wait to do the new segment that we're doing. So
I'm excited.
It's gonna be a good time.
I agree. Let's get started. You ready?
Yes.
Let's go. It's SmackDown time, baby. And what Ryan was quoted as saying in a text, the greatest SmackDown he's ever seen. And let's go.
Of course.
Tiffany Tiffany Stratton opens the show to brag about winning the Money in the Bank briefcase. She says she may take any of the 3 titles, including the NXT, when Bayley interrupts. Bayley threatens her, and Nia Jax comes out. Mitchell attacks Nia Jax. Chelsea Green is in a neck brace, waiting for Nick Aldis to show up or to open up his office door. Nia Jax defeats Mitchell. After Bayley attacks Tiffany. Bayley attacks and Tiffany knocks her out with the briefcase and teases a cash-in, but doesn't because Nia Jax gives her that look of, you better not, girl. Andrade and Carmelo Hayes have a sit-down interview in the stands for some reason about their Money in the Bank performance. Angel and Berto defeat Baron Corbin and Apollo Crews by pinning Apollo Crews. Pretty Deadly get in line behind Chelsea Green for Nick Aldis because they want to talk about their musical, Pretty Deadly, the musical. Randy Orton has Cody's back tonight, but hints that he wants the title. LA Knight cuts a promo and says he has a contract for his title match at SummerSlam against Logan Paul. Yeah. Naomi defeats Blair Davenport. Why did Blair Davenport even sign up? Naomi talks to Belair and Cargill backstage, who says Nick Aldis isn't here tonight, which pisses off Pretty Deadly and Chelsea Green, who walk out of the line and leave. Davenport attacks Naomi. DIY defeats A-Town Down Under to defend their titles in the easiest rematch ever. After the match, Jacob Fatu attacks and destroys DIY. The entire Bloodline go to the ring, and Solo names people who don't acknowledge him. He said Roman will or he'll never come back again. Cody Rhodes comes out and says they will fight at SummerSlam. He thinks maybe if Nick Aldis approves, but he will. So yeah, that's okay. We'll get back there. The Bloodline surround him when Randy Orton tries to make the save. They tie Cody up in the ropes and make him watch as they destroy Randy Orton. I'll let Ryan do the impressions later. Randy gets triple powerbomb through the table to close the show, and that's a SmackDown review. I'll let you start with wherever you want to start on this.
Okay, and for the record, I never texted you and said that this was the greatest episode of SmackDown ever. I said this was actually probably one of the worst episodes of SmackDown I've seen. And we talked about this before offline, but when you read the notes, it doesn't sound like it was that bad of an episode. But it was, man. Like there was just a lot of misses. Why was Nick Aldis not there? Like you have one job, and that's to manage SmackDown, and you're not there. So like I've always wondered, like when he's not there, who's technically running the show when he's not, like who's making these matches? Who's like is it Triple H? Like or what are we supposed to think?
And matches were made. And also, if Nick Aldis isn't there, why put his name on a door? It's not like that's his office permanently in that stadium.
I know.
What's even the point? Like Roman doesn't have a name somewhere on a
when
door.
he's not there. No,
It makes
no.
zero sense. Zero
Yeah,
sense.
I don't get it, but yeah, like, but it just kind of, I feel like that derailed a lot of this episode. If Nick Aldis approves, we'll have our
Mhm,
match at SummerSlam, but we'll find out next week if he approves. And
mhm.
then I have a contract with that, it's got Nick Aldis's signature on it, and it's got LA Knight's signature on it. Yeah, now I'm just waiting for Logan Paul to sign it, but you come next week, we're gonna have it. Like, what? Like,
And
I
was
don't
that
know.
fake? Does he really have a contract? Like, I don't how does he have a contract if he wasn't there? I think he's just messing. I was confused by that too.
Yeah, that whole thing. But the thing that really irked me with this episode was that closing segment. It was I despised it. It was so bad. It was everything about it. I thought it made the only person that looked good in that whole segment was Jacob Fatu. That man,
Mhm.
I mean, I didn't care for the squashing of DIY and just beating them down after they just retained their tag titles. I mean, what is
Yeah.
that leading? What was the point of that? What is that leading to? Is that leading to a six man with Randy Orton against Jacob and the Tongans or something? Like, I don't know.
Mhm,
But I just didn't. I didn't. But the way that man moves, I mean, he's a big guy and he's doing flips and he moves like he's rubber out there. Like
mhm,
he's out there like a high flyer doing all these. I'm like, Jesus, this guy is good. So that was the
mhm,
only like real highlight of the night, or of that segment. But then the rest of it, I thought it made Solo Sikoa look weak. I thought it
mhm,
made Cody Rhodes look like an absolute moron.
mhm,
Okay, so Cody Rhodes got tied up in ring ropes. Ring
mhm.
ropes. Not
Uh,
they weren't even tied. They weren't even
no,
in a they were
it's
just
just
wrapped
yeah.
around his arm. Like,
Mhm.
and he's over here yelling, "No!" when Randy Orton's about to go through a table. Take me instead. Take me instead. I'm like, are you serious right now? Like, first of all, the WWE just a few months ago, you wrestled AJ Styles in a street fight and you were locked in handcuffs and you managed to escape those handcuffs. And
Mhm,
even when you had the handcuffs on, you managed to get some offense in on AJ Styles with the handcuffs on you. But ring ropes have you
mhm,
like, oh, can't do anything with ring ropes. I
mm-mm,
mean, I can't unwrap myself. And it's not like he was being held down by the Tongans and Solo Sikoa. He was being held by just Solo. So he could have easily escaped, done a
mhm,
low blow to Solo, and then helped
mhm,
Randy Orton out that way.
mhm,
I think it would have been better if Jacob Fatu and the other two guys, Tama Tonga and Tongaloa, were the ones holding
mhm,
Cody Rhodes down. And then Solo Sikoa puts Randy Orton through the table. Because then I think that would have made Solo look like a legitimate badass. To me, it made it look like Jacob Fatu's doing all the work and that Solo is the enforcer again and not the tribal chief. So
yeah.
I thought this segment was just really, really weak. I didn't care for him getting wrapped up in the ring ropes and he's hanging there like he's been crucified and he's yelling like take me instead. Like, and Randy
Mhm,
Orton's going through a table. He's just going through a table. It's
mhm.
not like they
Happens every
beat
week on SmackDown. Yeah.
yeah. And it's not like they're beating him down to the point where his
Mm-mm.
career's over. Randy Orton
No.
also voluntarily came out there. So, like he did, like, all of it was bad, and it was just a bad way to end what I thought was a mediocre show. And it did make me excited at all about Cody and Solo at SummerSlam.
I mean, you forgot to add into the fact that Solo was like, look at
Yeah,
him," because he was like
yeah.
trying to turn, and Solo was like moving his head, like, "You did this." I think he even said like, "You did this. This
Yeah,
is the blood is
this
on
is
your
your fault.
hands."
Yeah, yeah, this
Yeah,
is
and
your
Cody's
fault.
like, "I can't."
And like
Like,
they did this with Kevin Owens at the Royal Rumble last
mhm.
year. But that was like he was handcuffed to the ring. And I think like the handcuffs, I think would have made a big difference. But
Yes.
I couldn't get over the fact that he was just like the ring ropes weren't even like tied in like a knot or anything around
No,
his
no, no.
arms. They were just wrapped. Like he could have easily just
Mhm,
untangled them and
mhm,
fought him off. I could not get over that. It was just like seriously, like this is a guy that wrestled Hell in a Cell with a torn pec. This is a
mhm,
guy that didn't tap out against Brock Lesnar. And this is
mhm,
a guy that wrestled AJ Styles with handcuffs in the middle of the freaking ring in a street
mhm,
fight. And he managed to escape those handcuffs, but ring
mhm.
ropes.
And was beating him too while
Yeah,
he was
he
handcuffed.
can't escape ring ropes bundled around it. It was
Yeah.
just, yeah, all of it was bad. The Solo stuff was bad. The only person that looked good in that whole segment was Jacob Fatu.
For sure. Well, the best part, about I've always felt about with the ropes being tied around your arms like that is that they do it themselves. So it's like we've seen them do that. So it's not like it's like this big secret of like you see them, they just bend a certain way and they pop in and they bend a certain and it pops out. So it's just that's always unreal. Like whenever they do it and they're like punching them and stuff, I'm like, dude, just like position out of it, dude. But once again, we're supposed to disbelieve, right? It's wrestling. But here's the thing: Jacob Fatu started hot, came in. I agree with you. I never think a tag team, let alone a tag team champion, should be beat up by one man. But holy cow, to make DIY look bad, which we'll get into again about tag teams, and like, do they care about tag teams? So does it really matter? But to make Jacob Fatu just look that much stronger. I mean, they did just wrestle a match, even though it was like a squash match, basically. But damn, dude, this dude, his splashes, his moves, his like, but I do want to point something out because you pretty much covered everything I felt about at the end. So I don't really need to get into it anymore. But just as a pro wrestling fan, and doing a podcast now on TikTok, I always try to watch a little bit more observantly, right? To see like, oh, what can I learn? What can I see? I'm not a wrestler. I'll never be in there. So what's the best I can do to see what they do, right? And I just noticed that like the Tongas and Jacob Fatu, man, they're putting it, like Jacob Fatu was putting it to DIY. No shame. There was a couple of moves even where I was like, dude, did you like do that clean? Or are you just going to town? Like, did you hurt them? As soon as Randy Orton got out there, rewatch it. It's like baby kicks, baby punches. They're like missing half the time. And I think it's so funny that those, because they're young, they're brand new. And I think whenever you wrestle Randy Orton, every person who isn't like Randy Orton's dude is probably just remembering him yelling at Kofi Kingston, you idiot, you idiot, you idiot. And are like, I don't want to hit this guy wrong. I don't want to splash him wrong. I don't want to I don't want to be that dude who's responsible for hurting. They took it. That's what else made me like fall out of the fact that it was like this butt whipping, because they weren't really putting it to Randy. They were, but now even the table bump, he felt completely like where he needed to casually like fall gently. Like they even lifted him, and then you can see them like go whoop whoop whoop, and they like lifted him up some more to make sure like no, let's not hurt our princess. We need to make sure he falls perfectly. And that's not dogging Randy. He's a freaking legend. I get it. You don't want to like mess. You don't know where your career is going to go, but I just think it's funny when I watch it more. Observantly trying to figure out what's happening. It's crazy to see the differences between attacking Johnny Gargano and attacking Randy Orton. It's just like they were like, no, dude, I ain't hitting them.
And I got to be honest, man. Like, the Shield is one of my all-time favorite factions in WWE's history, with another faction led by Roman Reigns. But they're not there anymore, and they probably will never reunite ever again. Ever. So can we retire the triple power bomb? Like, thank you. I feel like that's everybody's go-to move when you put somebody through a table. They do it in AEW, they do it in WWE, and they just did it with the Bloodline, putting Randy. I mean, it was the Shield's power bomb, and it's just can we do something else to put him through a table? Another move besides the triple power bomb? I mean, something. Yeah, but
I agree.
Yeah,
or stop putting through the table. The table, I'm bored of it. And
I know. Come up with something else. Yeah, come up with something.
I agree.
Something else. But yeah, that segment was atrocious. I mean, it was. The entire episode was bad.
It was. It just fell flat. So let's talk about it. One other thing we should talk about. Let's talk about Tiffany Stratton. She won the Money in the Bank briefcase. She opens up the show. She got a good pop. Crowd's liking her. They're digging her. They continue. Bayley they were kind of cheering her more than Bayley when they were going back and forth. It kind of seemed like Bayley was thrown off. I don't know why, because she's had the worst, that's not a word, but the worst ever title run of her reigns. And I don't know what the hell they did wrong with Bayley. I don't know why they did her like that. But Nia Jax came out. She wanted to do it. Are you liking this? Are you feeling this? Something going to happen at SummerSlam. Is Tiffany going to be the first female to not cash in? I really, really have a feeling she is. It smells like it. I don't think she should, but it smells like it.
Yeah, I don't think she should either. And I said before that I want because usually the women cash in the night of Money in the Bank, or like 24 hours later, or maybe like the month after at SummerSlam. But I think like 6 of the last 7 have done that. But I think Tiffany Stratton needs to hang on to that briefcase for a while. And
Mhm.
I didn't like the fake cash in on Nia Jax or on Bayley, and Nia Jax being like, "What are you doing? What are you like? Why shouldn't I know they have a little alliance going on, but why does Nia Jax care? Like, you're in the main event of SummerSlam, so you'll still get the
No.
title shot. Yeah, no matter what. So it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like, I know you don't want to wrestle your friend, but if you have to, you will.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know. But I thought, I love women, and I'm glad that the women got the
So do I.
yeah, we all do. But I kind of felt like they dragged this on a little bit. I mean, it opened with Tiffany Stratton's promo, and then we get Nia Jax and Tiffany and coming out.
Mitchin.
And and then Bayley comes out. Yeah, and then Mitchin comes out with the what was it, a sledgehammer or something? And
Yeah, she attacked her.
yeah, and then or not, was it Mitchin or Maya Yim? I think it was Maya Yim that came out. But yeah, it was just it kind of dragged on a little bit. It was just it was like the first 45 minutes of the show was all women, and I'm not knocking that, but it was just it was the same thing. It wasn't like, okay, we're going to highlight Bayley and her title match, and now we're going to focus on Jade Cargill and Bianca, and now we're going to focus on Tiffany Stratton and Nia Jax, and now we're going to focus on Naomi. It was just the same 4 women for the first 4, and it just kind of dragged on a little bit too long, in my opinion.
Yeah, Mitchin and Mia Yim are the same person, though. Mitchin is the OC girl. She was the one who came out. She's been feuding with Nia Jax. Yeah,
that's right. That's right.
Remember, she changed her name, Mitchin, because she's bitchin'.
That's right. Yeah, I forgot about that.
As soon as you said that, I was like,
yeah. No, you're right. You're right.
Batman, Dark Knight, same person, same person.
Okay.
Because she's on NXT too. Yes, it's.
But she's on NXT as Mitchin. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think they said Mitchin here. Maybe now I just see her. I think Mitchin. I don't know what they said, but either way, that human being.
Or maybe you're right. I think you're right. I think she was Maya Yim, and now she's Mitchin.
She was, yeah.
I can't. Yeah, you're right. It is Dark Knight.
It is.
And,
yeah. Batman is the same
Kate
person.
Crusader. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But no, I agree. It felt a little flat to me. So that's what I mean. The whole episode, like when you read it, it sounds good. But when you watch it and really break it down, it just was kind of especially because SmackDown has been hot as of late, especially with the Bloodline. And just, I think it was just the Cody thing. They shouldn't have went there. I don't know what they were thinking. Once again, like we said, off and on this podcast, who's Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes? Nobody that he would react that way. So you can't just pick a random dude in the back and react that way. It just was a miss for me.
They have their history together with Legacy and all that.
Yes, but
that was like 30 years ago. And so I don't know. But one other thing I didn't like about SmackDown before we move on.
Oh.
Baron Corbin and Apollo Crews are a tag team? When did that come together? Like, that just, you talk about randomness. And Baron Corbin's apparently a babyface now, and he's feuding with Legado del Fantasma. Like, what? Where did this come from?
I have no idea. And also, Ben Apollo, who I thought was released. I thought Apollo Crews got released. I didn't even know he was in. I saw him this week and I was like, I thought he got released. Maybe I'm thinking of somebody. I don't know. But then he was back and he took the L and Baron's like, oh, shucks. And I was like, what is happening?
Poor Baron Corbin, man. Like, he loses
He cannot win. No. That dude deserves a medal for the way he's been treated in the WWE. Him and Chelsea Green.
I am curious to see what happens to him as he's trying, because it seems like he's taking a babyface run now with this Apollo. Like, he was like high-fiving fans after the match and stuff. So I'm curious to see like how this goes. I don't feel like it's going to go well, but I am curious to see what happens. But this was completely random. It was just, let's throw these two guys together when he's been teaming with the Wolf Dogs for all that time and hasn't done anything since. And now you bring him back, and now he's with Apollo Crews. That was weird.
Yeah. It was very AEW Collision for sure. Yeah.
100%.
Like, we need to get people on this card. So you two get out there. All right, let's get into Monday Night Raw, where everything changed and it was awesome. You ready?
Go for it.
All right, review. Let's go. Rhea Ripley opens the show. She's happy to be back and will deal with Dom later, who instantly comes out with a black rose. Liv pops on the screen and says Dom finally got to be on top. Ripley challenges her for SummerSlam. Liv says yes and blows a kiss to Dom. Ripley says she's ending the revenge tour, her title reign, and career. Dom tries to win her over, but Rhea throws the flower. Sheamus beats Bronson Reed. After, Bronson Reed tries to attack Sheamus, but Pete Dunne makes the save only to attack Sheamus. Priest welcomes Rhea back. Dom walks into a and apologizes, but Rhea wonders where that's been the past 3 months. Dragunov and Sami Zayn talk before their title match tonight. Selena Vega wants a title shot, but Sonya Deville tells her it's her time. Sonya then destroys her in 1 minute. Dom and Priest talk, and Jey Uso asks if Mommy is single. Priest tells Dom not to take that shit and challenge him. So Dominik leaves. Chad Gable will call out Bo Dallas tonight because he believes. Priest and Gunther have their one-on-one. Gunther is the heel and Priest is the babyface. Braun Breaker tells Adam Pearce he will interrupt the IC title match, so he says leave. And Braun says, okay, I'll leave myself. Wink, wink. Damian Priest destroys Braun Strowman in basically a squash match. After the match, Gunther slaps Priest, who punches him back, and Gunther flees. Chad Gable tries to reconcile with the Alpha Academy again to help him, but they once again turn him down. Baszler Stark defeat Carter and Chance. Dom tries to win over Rhea again and tells her he has a match with Jay, and she says he's an idiot. Dom says she belongs to him, and she ain't having it, and even Carlito says, that's not cool. Drew and Adam Pearce are in the ring for a chat. They both agree Drew and Punk should have a fight. So Adam says, all you got to do is literally apologize to these two refs right here. Drew says, you can go F yourself, and beats them both down, basically pushing them to the ground. Out comes Seth Rollins, and they brawl. He's still suspended. A new Wyatt 6 video plays, and this time we learn all about Eric Rowan. Jey Uso defeats Dom when Liv comes out, and Rhea chases her off. Backstage, Rhea tells Dom she belongs to no one, but he is hers, and she hands him back the black rose. Chad Gable in the ring to tell the world Uncle Howdy is Bo Dallas. He solved the mystery. Bo comes out and is jumped by the Creeds. All three of them beat him down as Bo Dallas just laughs his little ass off. The lights go out and the Wyatt 6 come out and they flee. And the Wyatts pose in the ring together. Sami Zayn and Dragunov end in a DQ when Braun Breaker keeps his promise and attacks them both to close the show. And that's the Monday Night Raw review.
Yeah, it was.
Hey, what do you want to talk about? Let me pick one. There's a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot. Let's get into the. Let's talk about the Judgment Day. Let's talk about the good. And then I thought Judgment Day looked the best that they've looked in a while. Damian Priest is coming into his own as a true babyface. That promo with him and Gunther, I thought was really good. Yeah, really good. Priest held his own. Gunther did his thing on the mic too. Gunther's underrated on the mic. We talk about how great he is in the ring, but he's super underrated on the microphone for sure. But Rhea Ripley, man, Rhea Ripley's back, and I don't know. We were texting about this. It felt off. Like I'm happy to see Rhea Ripley, Rhea Ripley back on television, but it felt forced. I don't know what it was. It was just very like she came out and she immediately challenged Liv Morgan, said she was going to deal with Dirty Dom later. Dom comes out right away. I don't know. And then backstage, she's like, hey, Damian, thank you so much for holding the fort down while I was gone. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like she should have been pissed and like laying into the Judgment Day for all of the stuff. Like, I mean, getting video. Like, when did they get video games in the clubhouse? And why is, like, she mentioned Carlito, but they're playing video games in the clubhouse gifted to him by Liv Morgan. Why is she not pissed about that? I don't know. It just, something just felt off about her return. It was still good. It just wasn't. I thought it was going to be like epic and great. I thought she was going to cut a great promo. She also looked a little flustered on. Like, you could tell she hasn't really been. I don't know if she didn't practice or what, but something just felt off. I don't know if she just winged it out there and didn't have a script or what. But something was just very, very off with the Judgment Day and Rhea Ripley. But I thought, I mean, again, Judgment Day came out looking strong all night. Damian Priest with the Braun Strowman match, Dominik Mysterio and Jey Uso. You know, the story was, very Judgment Day centric. So I thought it was a good week and a good showing for them, but something just felt off with Rhea Ripley's return.
I felt a little bit different than you on this, a little bit. I agree with like we said about the Damian Priest thing. I thought they were awkward. I didn't like they were a little too chummy for my taste. They were way
Yeah.
too over the top baby facey. It was like, hey, ho, hey, high five. Yeah. Thanks for holding down the fort. Blah, blah, blah. I know that 3 months ago, which is nothing, we hated each other and we were arguing constantly and bickering. And it seemed like you were gonna leave because of me, because I wanted to be the boss, but you were saying you were being the boss. And every time that went wrong, you blamed me. So I blamed you. Now, all of a sudden, we just hate Dom and love everybody else. Finn Balor's perfect. He's been in
Yeah.
the room with Liv and
That's
setting
what it,
things up
yeah.
and taking the key. That's okay. But I just hate Dom. So all of that I didn't like. But I thought Rhea didn't miss a beat in the sense of her star presence. She just
Oh yeah,
walked
she looked
out
like a
there and
star.
it was
Yeah.
nice, and her walking away from Dom and this and that. But I was confused at the fact that she played Dom the entire time. They had like 12 segments of him like trying to get her back. She threw flowers at him, this and that. And then she was just like, you don't belong, I don't belong to anybody, but you're mine. Here's the rose, wink. And then Dom was like, so they're just right back together again. I don't think so. That's
No, I
all
don't
of
think
it
so.
is a
Yeah.
thing. I'm telling you, Dirty Dom is costing her match at SummerSlam with Liv. I'm telling you right now, they're going to kick Priest out. I think they're going to cost Priest too. I think the Judgment Day is turning. I think this was like just the writing on the wall. Priest and Gunther's promo was fantastic. Probably, like you said, probably Damian Priest's best promo he's ever done. It was solid. He was a great baby face and everything, but he was once again such an over-the-top baby face, talking about like his background and his struggle and how
Yeah.
Gunther has no heart, and Gunther was tearing him down about not even being a good champ. It was just like very Rhea Ripley, Damian Priest heavy baby faces. And I don't know why Priest needs to be a baby face champion. I don't understand why MJF turned heel. Some things I just don't understand. But I thought Rhea felt good. I didn't think she seemed like she missed too much of a beat. She looked good. I like that she grabbed that camera and was like, I'm taking your career, your title, your
Oh yeah.
life, whatever. I
Yeah.
mean, it was all good stuff. But yeah, it was a roller coaster of a thing. Although I do like when he said, you belong to me or whatever. And Finn was like, huh? I
Yeah.
just like how all of them were
I
just
mean,
like, oh, no, you didn't.
yeah.
Like, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know we talked about this with SmackDown and how we're supposed to suspend our disbelief, but
Mhm.
you know, like I know that Dom says that he hasn't talked to Rhea in 3 months, or Rhea was
Mhm.
like, you haven't talked to me. Where
Mhm.
was all this 3 months ago since I've been gone? But like,
Mhm.
what's their situation outside? Like, do they live together? Like, are we supposed to think
Mm.
that do they share an apartment together? Like, do they, is he just like, do
Yeah.
they, after the show, do they just go their separate ways? And
Yeah.
I've always been curious, like, because I mean, she was going to his house and taunting his family and going out to
Mhm.
dinner with him and all these video packages we've seen. So like, what
Which
is
were
their,
fantastic. Yeah.
yeah. So what is their situation outside of the ring? I know in kayfabe, I mean, this is all storyline. I know that she's got Buddy or Aleister Black, or not. No, she's got Buddy Matthews.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Aleister Black has Zelina Vega, but
Mhm.
I know she has Buddy Matthews like wrapped
They're
around her
married
finger.
now.
Yeah, yeah. And then Dominik just got married in real life. But I'm just talking about character wise, right? Like we know they're a thing on screen, but what are they doing behind the scenes?
I agree, especially
So
because, like you said, they show behind the scenes. So if you're going to show it, you're
yeah,
going to make me believe that, like, this whole time she was rehabbing, he didn't say one thing to her because
yeah,
Liv pops up for 5 minutes on a episode every Monday. Like, it was a little, especially because Jay came out and said, "Hey, I heard mommy's single."
yeah,
Even that kind of caught me off guard because I'm like, she just got married like a day ago. But all right, like I
yeah.
thought, and I was like, oh, like yeah, now we have to believe they were dating. But then, like you said, if they were dating, then why wouldn't he be talking to her? Why would they? Like, imagine not talking to your wife for 3 months, and
I
then
know.
she's just like, "Hey, what's
Yeah,
up? Well, I forgive you. It's all good.
yeah,
Let's just be together still."
yeah.
Like, that's
I
a
know. I don't get it. I don't
mhm,
understand it. But no, I mean, like Rhea Ripley, man, like her being back on Raw was like the opening. I mean, you talk about star treatment. That camera shot of her just walking into the arena and showing again. They did the camera angle backstage again, where they show Gorilla and everything, but they're following Rhea Ripley into the ring. It was good stuff. It was
yeah.
her being back on Raw is only going to make Raw better.
I fully agree. And something else that I thought was fantastic was Drew McIntyre. I have to say, this dude, not only does he look just amazing, I'm a straight male, and every time he comes out on the screen, I'm kind of like, Drew's good looking,
Yeah,
kind
about
of
to find out.
good.
Yeah.
Drew's got those. He's just, and he keeps getting
Questioning
better,
himself.
like buffer. Yeah, I'm like, am I in college? But no, he's just getting buffer, and then but his promos, his delivery, his he was just feeding into the fact of like, and the thing is with Drew was that he's like Eminem, where he is just that person who's just like a real person, where he's just gonna tell you the truth. He's not gonna PC himself. Like, I don't know if you heard the new Eminem album. You should if you hadn't. It's
Oh, it's great
freaking
stuff.
classic.
Yeah.
And there's a part where he's talking about like transgender and how he supports transgender, but he doesn't want to date someone who's transgender, and that makes him a bad person because it shouldn't, because he's allowed to say he doesn't want to be with somebody just because it doesn't make him like a hate person or whatever. It's like, obviously I didn't quote it, but it's like that's like Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre is like, no, like, sure, should I push refs? No, but you know what? Everybody else is doing whatever they want. Everybody else does this. These guys got in my way. I'm getting cheated. The refs they've been ripping me off every single match, but now you want me to apologize? Hell no. And I'm going to shove him to the ground again. He's just like a real person, like with everything. Like he's getting screwed by Punk. He just states it. He's not over here trying to be like a heel or a baby face. He's just a human freaking being. And it is amazing. And I loved it. And I love that Seth came out and tried to run him off. And I like him and Seth and Punk. I know people are worried about a three-way and this and that. I think it works because Punk is glass, and maybe they need an insurance policy, and they have it with Seth and Punk. Now they have it with Seth and Drew. You don't know what's going to happen. Maybe they will do a triple threat. Maybe they won't. Maybe one of them costs. Maybe someone's going to turn. Maybe I like that they're adding the three, because Punk obviously can't be on TV every week. This is why Drew is suspended, wink, wink, for all you Spotify and Apple podcasts. I'm just doing the air quotes. We are, you know what I mean? Like they got to keep it going. And I can't believe, once again, and it makes me think of Mercedes money and just the fact that they had her so long and not wrestle. And everybody said, you ruined her because she didn't wrestle. We can't believe that anymore. Punk hasn't wrestled in how long? The Rumble? If I'm not mistaken, right? Isn't that when he got injured?
This is the only time he's wrestled since he's been back.
7 months? 7 months?
Yeah.
And this thing has been going on for 7 months, basically. This thing has been going on with no contact for that long. And this is like minus Liv Morgan and Dom and Rhea. Storyline-wise, this is the thing I'm most looking forward to once it finally happens. And it's because of Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, I've been saying it. I mean, like, we've talked about this many a time, but we're both diehard CM Punk fans. But Drew McIntyre is the reason that this feud has been as entertaining as it has been. This Drew McIntyre has been carrying this feud, and it's not a knock on Punk. When he's there, he does knock it out of the park from time to time, and his promos have been better lately than they were when he first got back. But from all the trolling Drew McIntyre was doing, and all the stuff he was doing on press conferences, and he drove to Mindy's Bakery when they were in Chicago, and he was talking about all the stuff he's been posting on X about how does an empty-headed talking about Punk's time in AEW. I mean, all these things, and now it's all leading to this moment. And yeah, I think it's all fantastic, and I love the fact that he didn't bend the knee and apologize to the refs. I like that he stayed true to who he was, instead of being like, you know what, I really want this match at SummerSlam, so I'm gonna apologize, and I'm gonna do it. And because that's the typical WWE way, right? Where they're like, okay, we're 2 weeks out, I need to apologize, so because otherwise we're not gonna have enough build for the match. No, I like that he didn't apologize. I like that it's something different, and he stayed true to who he was. And I can't wait. I mean, whatever happens, I can't wait for it.
I fully agree with you. I'm all for it. All right, let's hear it. What else?
Okay. I want to talk the Wyatt Six, because, I'll get to the video in a minute when we do our segment later. But I want to talk about the Chad Gable thing. First of all, what are we doing with Chad Gable? Because he said the same joke like 4 times in the entire episode about, hey, I cracked the case. I figured out that Bo Dallas is Uncle Howdy. Hey, hey Otis, guess what? Bo Dallas is Uncle Howdy. Hey fans, guess what? Bo Dallas is Uncle Howdy. It was just like, all right, dude, like, joke's played out by now. It was funny the first time when you said it to Adam Pearce. Now you've said it like 6 times, and it's done. But I don't know. I feel like this guy was competing for the Intercontinental Championship, and he was like becoming like he was a heel, and he was a credible heel, and he was kind of coming into his own as a heel. And now I feel like he's just becoming a comedy character again. And with that stupid joke about Uncle Howdy is Bo Dallas. But I don't know how I feel about the segment. I don't know if I liked it or not. I mean, I liked that Bo Dallas came out and he was just Bo Dallas. He didn't have his Uncle Howdy stuff on. I like that he was beating them down, or that the Creeds came out and helped Chad Gable and they beat him down, and he was just laughing the whole time. Even when they were like hitting him with all these moves, he just continued smiling and laughing, and then he was saying things like "there you are" and like some other comments. And it was cool. And then they came out, and I don't know. I think it was maybe the placement of this segment that I wasn't feeling. I feel like maybe it should have ended the show, as opposed to Chad or Sami Zayn and Dragunov ending the show. I feel like if it ended the show, I would have liked it a little bit better. But it felt like, oh, okay, we got to get to the main event, so we got to end it. And then they just came out, and then they didn't do anything. Like they didn't. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about the Wyatt Six.
So, believe it or not, I liked it. I liked it a lot. You said we'll talk about the video later, but I don't know. I the number one thing I said, because I was one of the few who didn't like when they premiered. When they showed up, I was against it. I thought it was stupid. I thought they were trying too hard to be Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt never worked for WWE because Triple H didn't do it right and didn't believe in it. And I was like, here we go again. What's the point of even doing all this if you're just going to go right back to where you were? And I said, I just don't want them to be supernatural. And it truly feels like they're not supernatural. And as soon as Bo Dallas just walked out, minus a human leave shirt, he was just like a human. I was like, yes. Okay. Then he came out and he was Bo Dallas. He got his butt kicked, but he kept getting up and he laughed and and I just felt like that was like, that's like him, right? Overcoming everything and his feelings and his sadness and they're all outcasts and now they're coming together because nobody wanted them. And that was like him trying to like overdo himself, but not so much because he's not supernatural. So he wasn't just going to like Undertaker it up and then like, or Hulk out. You know what I mean? Like he was just laughing because he's like one of those weirdos who likes pain because he has nothing else to live for. He's gone through so much suffering. What you do to him in the ring won't bother him. But it doesn't mean he's supernatural. And I loved it all. And then I like the Wyatt Six coming out. I like that they all came out. I love Chad Gable starting a new crew. He went back to Alpha Academy and they said to go F yourself. So we're going to get Chad and the Creeds versus with Ivy Nile versus the Alpha Academy. I'm all for that. I dig Chad getting a new crew. And it looked like he was more serious at the end. I know he was doing Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego at the beginning, but he did better at the end. It looked like he was more serious with the beatdown. They waited until the last second to scurry away. And then the Wyatt Six posed, and I like the pose. I know people thought it was like the same thing as always, but what are they going to do? Pose differently? Are they going to like Vogue or something? Like, I mean, it's just that they are still living in Bray Wyatt's shadow, or they were built to come together because of his loss or his whatever their reasoning is. But I liked it. I thought it was fun. I digged it. And I like that it was different because, like I said, if you make them more real, then it doesn't take them out of wrestling. And that was Bray Wyatt's problem, was that he couldn't be a wrestler because how do you have the Fiend wrestle? And we saw it and it didn't work. So
I do agree. The thing that didn't land for me, I think the reason I didn't enjoy this as much, it has nothing to do with the Wyatts. It was more Chad Gable in his, like, I feel like that's the wrong people for them to be feuding with. I don't really know why. And also the Creeds aligning with Chad Gable felt like it should have been a bigger deal than it was. Because they've been talking backstage for a few months now, and the Alpha Academy said, no, we're not going to help you out. And Chad Gable was like, okay, well, I'll do it by myself like I always do. I can't believe this. You guys are turning your backs on me. And then the Creeds come out and help him out. And I'm like, okay, like I'm down for that. And then they get immediately overshadowed by the Wyatt Six. Like, I feel like you talk about no build. Like, why would the Wyatt Six be feuding with the Creeds? I get why they're going after Chad Gable, but why the Creeds? So is this, what's this leading to? Is this going to lead to a 6-man at SummerSlam? I don't know. I just felt like the placement of the turn of the Creeds was the wrong time to do it. It should have been Chad Gable out there by himself, and I would have liked it a little bit better, and having him beat down Bo Dallas by himself and then have the Wyatts come out and help him. I think I would have liked it better, and then do the Creed thing next week. when he's in the ring by himself. I don't know. It just felt like, that was a big chapter of the Chad Gable story, was the Creeds, like the Alpha Academy turning on or leaving him, and then the Creeds uniting with him. And as soon as they do, they get overshadowed by the Wyatt Six, that it didn't even feel like a huge deal anymore.
Yeah, I feel that. I agree with that. But I do like if it's going to be a 6-man with them and the Wyatts, because I want the Wyatts to wrestle competitors. I don't want them to be.
It's going to be a good match.
They don't have to wrestle supernatural people, kind of like when the Wyatt family wrestled, the Shield and such. Like, I'm okay with it. They're regular humans.
Yeah,
I want to see it. I don't know if they'll get SummerSlam is how far away, because they obviously now they're doing VHS tapes.
Yeah.
Like we said they got to show everybody. So unless they're not doing Nikki Cross, they can get there. But I think they're going to introduce everyone before they officially wrestle. So we'll see. All right. Anything else?
I don't think so. I mean, Raw was solid.
It was a really good episode, actually. The only other thing, I mean, Sonya Deville's doing her thing. I like that new crew. They felt dominant. They won 2 matches in the same night. I mean, it was a good thing for factions. White Six felt good. Alpha Academy's teaming up with New Day. We got, the Sonya Deville crew. Judgment Day killed it. I mean, we had a good group of people on this episode. So I do like that. But I think that's really it. Yeah, I think we covered it all.
Yeah.
So you ready for some NXT? It was
solid week of Raw, way better than SmackDown. So
and Raw's been killing it, man, for that 3 hours. The 3 hours goes by fast. All right.
It does.
All right, NXT time. We had a lot going on in NXT. Let's get it started. The Rascals defeat Gallus to open the show. And you say his name. Joe Henry says Gallus would have won if they believed more. Roxanne Perez walks through the back, and Thea Hale wants a piece of her. Come on, baby. Ethan Page tells Ava he's in an unsafe work environment. Oso Mensa walks in and challenges him. So Ethan will face Ken later tonight, because that makes a lot of sense. Roxanne Perez out to say her next opponent is Thea Hale, and she's a joke. Out comes Thea Hale, who attacks her and makes her tap out. Kalani Jordan is ready for her next challenger when Wendy Chu shows up and just stares at her. Lola Vice, and it says Henley will face tonight, but they don't. Javon Evans defeats Brooks Jensen after the match. Brooks jumps Javon, and Briggs pulls him off. You're going to make me lose my job, he says. D'Angelo family and Charlie Dempsey talk about I have no idea where this conversation was about. I watched it twice. I still didn't get it. Trick Williams talks to Dragon off on the phone. I'm glad they're friends. It was cute. He talks about him losing his title when Pete Dunne walks in. So Trick's like, yo, homie, can I get some advice? And Pete tells him to figure it out.
Yeah,
okay.
What was that about?
I don't know again. Ethan Page defeats Dante Chen, the guy who is going to face, and he announced earlier, to defend his title. Aura Mensa takes out Page after the match and pins him and counts 1, 2, 3. Gallus hates Joe Hendry. But they said his name, so he appears and says he loves NXT and is so happy to be here. I don't know. Tatum Paxley defeats Isa Dame. Lola Vice defeats JC Jane. After, Henley jumps Lola Vice when Sol Ruka and Carmen Petrovic, of all people, make the save. The OC get a win. They defeat OTM. Ren Sinclair wants to join the No Quarter Catch crew. Why the hell would you want to do that? Lexus King jumps Eddie Thorpe when he is DJing. It looked like he was DJing. Obafemi defeats Duke Hudson in a pretty damn good main event to defend his title. After the match, Briggs is yelling at Brooks, who challenges him to a no DQ match next week to close the show, and that's the NXT review.
Whew, man. A lot happened.
I didn't make it sound so good. I didn't think it was an awful episode, actually.
Yeah,
a lot did happen.
I didn't think it was bad. It wasn't great, but it wasn't bad.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the thing that all right, I want to talk about Thea Hale for a second. I'm digging that feud with her and Roxanne Perez. I think that was way better than her last feud with Roxanne Perez and the girl that was fumbling her words.
Lola Vice.
Lola Vice. But this one, like, this promo was way better. I mean, I like that they talked about their history before. That you know, I know we've gone at it before, and that you beat me pretty badly then, but I'm not the same person I was then. I mean, it was really good stuff. Roxanne Perez, man, she's legit. She is
so good.
She's really, and
Mhm.
she has come into her own since winning that women's championship back and coming out as a heel now. I mean, it's good stuff. I like that. I like that they had this feud. I like that the fight broke out. Um,
Mhm.
I like that she's got this little confidence about her. One of the lines that I liked was she said that she's not underestimating Thea Hale. She just knows that as long as she's holding the title, it's not going to be her time or anyone else's time, and that Hale's
Yep.
just not ready. It was good stuff. It was a good promo, and then I like the brawl. I like that Roxanne Perez tapped out and Thea Hale got the one up on her. And then, this was like the most serious I've taken Thea Hale in a long time because I know she's been in all
Mhm.
that Chase U stuff, and I like that she mentioned Roxanne Perez win at Chase U and talked about Chase Hudson or Andre Hudson giving
Duke
in,
Hudson.
Duke
Duke
Hudson,
Hudson.
and Andre Chase, he was like he tapped out and he kind of gave up and he quit. So yeah, she was just it was a good segment. I really enjoyed it.
I mean, Roxanne's going to win, but I still dig it. I like these two little girls. They're both little tiny girls. They're adorable. They're
Yeah.
phenomenal in the ring. Roxanne Perez, I have been down with since she became a heel, and I've stated it on this podcast, and I still am. People were
Oh yeah.
sleeping on it. I think it's good. Thea Hill's a great competitor. I don't know what they're doing with Chase U, giving them all these chances just so they can lose and lose
I
and
know. I
lose.
don't get that, but yeah.
So, but if they come out like Duke Hudson looked like a freaking star. Obafemi, who I didn't believe in until this last match that he had with Wes Lee at the PLE, and now this match, I am like all for Obafemi. Duke Hudson, holy, Chase U's been holding that dude back because that match was good. He put on a show. I can't believe I forgot how like different he looked. They showed him before. He was like skinny and scrawny and just like a regular dude, and now he's all big and buff and still can do all those moves and jump around. I mean, that match was fun. It didn't make him look bad at all. He looked like a star. Obafemi's supposed to be this unbeatable force. So if you lose to him, it's okay. But that was by far his toughest challenge. I liked it all. But like I said, I still think tag team, North American, and now women's, you lose them all. I don't know. What is that? What do you do after that for Chase U? But
Yeah.
nonetheless, the crowd loves, dude. The NXT audience loves them some Chase U
Oh
for
yeah.
sure. They get
Oh yeah.
popped.
They're super over, which is great.
Mhm.
And then the other thing I want to talk about, and I got some stuff for the segment too, but the other thing I really want to talk about is Ethan Page and like Aura Mensa is his opponent, and that's not a knock on Aura. It's
Mhm.
just like, what are we doing here? I mean, like Trick Williams isn't getting a rematch. I know he was talking. I know they showed him, and
Yeah, what?
he's talking on the phone to Dragunov, and he's like, "Hey, I want my title back." Like, I can tell you what to do, Trick Williams. Go out there and beat up Ethan Page and challenge
Yeah.
him to a match at the Great American Bash or whatever the next event is, and
Mhm.
say, I want my but like over here, like on the phone with Dragunov, and then
Mhm.
Pete Dunne, figure it out, bro. Like, what? Huh?
Yeah.
And it looks like he's not getting a title match and it's going to be Aura Mensa instead, which that
Mhm.
feels like it kind of came out of nowhere. I don't know.
I mean, he's been chasing him around, but
Yeah, but
to get a title shot.
I don't know. I don't get that. And then, um, yeah, so I wasn't feeling that. Like, I like Ethan Page. I feel like he's been doing a great job. I like that he's kind of being the kind of the diva type heel where he's like, I am your like he's correcting the backstage interviewer saying I'm your
Mhm.
NXT champion, Ethan Page, and you'll address me as that. He's leaving because of an unsafe work environment. He's over here saying that Aura Mensa did not pin me. He did not pin me. I'm going to beat him out. I'm going to beat him down, but he did not pin me. So I like that he's kind of playing I like his character, but
Mhm.
I don't know. I'm just not feeling this feud. I'm just not.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't feeling it before he was champ, and now like Aura Mensa is a third most popular person out of the Metaphor,
Yeah.
and he's the leader of Metaphor wasn't even getting. He was wrestling for not even a title. He was a cup champion, and now all of a sudden the other dude who randomly was in the crew is now fighting for a world championship. I think people already are probably weirded about Ethan Page's title reign, and now you're gonna have him face a nobody. It reminded me when the Big Show won. The Big Show, I don't know if you remember, the Big Show won his title in the WWE,
He beat
and he
Brock
was
Lesnar.
feuding.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he was feuding with the Big Boss Man at the time, and
Oh,
he
right.
won the
Yeah.
title. And so they were like, "Oh shoot, you're already kind of wrestling the Big Boss Man, so you'll defend it against the Big Boss Man." And it was kind of like, why, and then he dragged his dad around. It was just like such a weird,
I remember
like
that.
you didn't have to. Sometimes you guys kill feuds off all the time. Just kill it off. That's how I felt about this too. But now you're keeping it going. And Ora Mensa's no Big Boss Man, but Big Boss Man was not in his prime during that time. He was like
No.
falling off. I was like, what are we doing here? It feels the same way. And like you said, Chick Williams doesn't have to beat up anybody. All he has to say is I have an automatic rematch clause. Don't they all WWE contracts have an automatic rematch clause? I'm so confused on what was happening. I don't know. I was lost. I'm not getting it. But I want to say one more thing before we move on to our segment. Something else I don't get, and I've been told for the past year, this all of 2024, is that I have to get, and I have to say his name, and I have to believe in him. What is the hype about Joe Hendry? I've been watching Impact. I don't get it on Impact. I didn't get it when I watched him wrestle in the ring.
Man. That's all it is. Yeah.
His look is stupid. I don't understand Joe Hendry. I'm not saying if I met the guy, I would hug him. I support all pro wrestlers. And once again, when we talk like this, I mean, as a character, I don't get why everybody has a huge boner for him. I don't get it.
It's because of his song. I'm telling you, like that's all it is. His song was going viral on TikTok and all the social media platforms, and people were making videos with it. And it's his song. The song made him over. And now when every time he comes on, people are like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to see him." It's his song. The song is over. It's like it's not as deep. I think Joe Hendry's a little bit more over than Bobby Roode, but one of the reasons that Bobby Roode was so popular in WWE was also his theme song.
Yeah.
Glorious. And but this, man, like this went viral on social media. This went viral without the WWE machine behind it. This went viral with just little old TNA pushing it out. And social media took upon it. So I think that's what made him so popular. But I don't understand what they're doing with him. I don't get it.
Yeah, I agree. I don't.
Attitudes.
We don't get it.
I'll talk more about it in just a minute, but it was just.
It's gonna be on there. All right, let's go.
Maybe.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So I got like 4 each too. So let's get into it. But overall, good week for WWE. I'm excited for what's moving forward, just like I am with AEW. Good time to be a wrestling fan, even if we critique a few things. But let's get into it. I know you got a song for it. I know we're going to be popping and locking for this segment. But it is time for
highs and lows. Let's go. This is highs and lows. It's time for the list. Who's killing it and who should probably go and sit? You're the best getting listed up high as hell. It's for the lows. They can come up here and take a L. Yes, they got their fingers on the button, yeah. Never sweat the mid, just the best and who run it. I'ma let them chill, let them run through the list of names. This is highs and lows. Go ahead and do your thing.
So hard to do highs and lows after talking about everything. I was trying not to talk about certain things.
I know.
Came up, and now I'm looking back, and I'm like, I shouldn't have talked about Joe Hendry at the end. But anyway, all right, let's get into it. We always start with the man. Ryan enjoys wrestling. What's your first high of the night?
Okay. All right. We talked a little bit about it, and I know you weren't really feeling this, but I'm going to say one of my first highs of the night is Damian Priest. I said it last week when we did Unpopular Opinions that I think Damian Priest should 100% beat Gunther at SummerSlam. And after watching this week's episode of Monday Night Raw, I still believe that. I still think that Damian Priest, I thought he got the better of Gunther on Raw. I feel like he's slowly transitioned into that babyface role, and it's been smooth. It's been a smooth transition, and I think he's been a fantastic world heavyweight champion rather, and I think he deserves a ton of credit for the work that he's done. This past episode on Raw, he was involved in so many different segments. He really carried the show. He had a fun match with Braun Strowman. And his story with the Judgment Day has been compelling, and not just with the Liv, Rhea, and Dom stuff, but also you have the Finn Balor, JD McDonough, Damian Priest side of it as well. So like, where's that whole angle going? But I feel like this week especially, I really noticed this new confidence about him that I haven't really seen before. And the title definitely looks great on him, but I feel like this week he had a little bit of an extra swag to him, a little bit of confidence and posh to him that I've never really seen from him before. And Maybe it's been there since he's been champion, but I really noticed it this week. And his matches since he's won the championship have been great. His promos have been awesome. He's gotten better and better each week. His confidence right now, I feel like, is through the roof. And I just don't think it's time to take the belt off of him yet, because I feel like he's starting to come into his own as both a champion and as a main eventer. And I'd like for him to hold the title just a little bit longer. So Damian Priest is my first high of the week.
Can't hate on that. And I agree. I also, even though I predict him to lose due to Judgment Day turning on him, I do agree that he should keep it a little bit longer. I think your key thing is confidence. He has confidence. That's the difference. He has seemed unsure of himself talking and delivering. Seems like he's reading promos. That's how I felt with him and Rhea. It's like he's talking like, yeah, cool. All right, dude. Thanks, bro. Like, he's just so like, but when he was with Gunther, he was so confident that the crowd turned on Gunther and was cheering him. They were legit cheering Damian Priest, someone that they were used to call the bisexual Undertaker. So it's like, it's just, it is stupid, but it's just nice to see that he can be what a lot of us always thought he could be, and that's the guy. So I did like that. So I agree.
And I think
go ahead.
Sorry, I was going to say, I think he's solidified himself as a legit main eventer going forward too. So even if he drops the title, I see him in the main event scene going forward. And I think it's because of this championship reign. It's brought it out of him, and I'm happy to see it.
I honestly would rather see him help cost Rhea and him turn. I wonder if his cheesiness is being over the top for that reason. Why can't Rhea versus Liv go last? I would love to see Damian beat Gunther and he's cost Rhea and them and they help him. I would love to see all of that happen. I would like to see it, because I think Priest is better as a champ, as a leader. I always feel like champs, when you're a bad guy, a baby, even, he needs to be in a crew. I just feel like, I don't know why, because you need backup. I just feel like it feels better.
And right now he's the only, the JD and Finn have the tag titles, but he's the one with like the top prize on the show. Rhea doesn't have her prize, so he can really establish himself as the leader. I say do it, man. Make it happen.
I agree. I'm gonna follow through with Judgment Day. I'm gonna go Rhea Dom Liv storyline. This is the best thing in wrestling today. The end. I love Maria May and Tony Storm, and I loved it this week on Dynamite. I thought Maria May,
oh my god, dude.
We'll get into that later. But Damian Priest, I think she just solidified herself as a person who could be the main person. Rhea, Dom, and Liv, man, once again, just Dom and Liv building up to it. And even once again, Liv coming out while Rhea's there, pulling Dom and then straddling him. She was like all for it. It wasn't looking like she's just playing games anymore and just running away again. And Rhea came out and all. Rhea just blowing up. Then all of a sudden, magically forgiving Dom. It's just such great stuff. If Rhea wins, if Liv wins, if Liv and Dom stay together, if Rhea Dom, none of it will surprise me. All of it will just make me go, wow. And I'm just loving this storyline. I think it's by far the high. And I thought it hit on all cylinders this week. I love it all. I thought Dom did good trying to be like saying stupid stuff like you belong to me and this and that and blah, and even Carlito. I even liked Rhea's line of like, why the hell is Carlito in our clubhouse?
I know. I like that. All. Yeah.
Although I'm like, Rhea, you're complaining that
you don't watch?
Have you not been watching Raw the past 3? Like, he's been there. But other than that, like, it's all good lines. I love this storyline.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And I think the thing I like about it is we don't know what direction it's going in. Usually you can kind of tell where they're going with a story before it even happens. And this one, you could have Rhea, you could have Dom cost Rhea and go with Liv. You could have Finn Balor, JD McDonough, and Dominik with Liv form their own version of Judgment Day. You could have Judgment Day 2.0, like Judgment Day Wolfpack against the OG Judge. You could have Dom turn babyface and align with Rhea Ripley. There's so many different ways that the story can go. So I completely agree. It's been a great story so far.
I agree. All right. What's your next high? Your last high?
Yeah, I'm going to follow up on that. And I'm not just going to, not just the Judgment Day storyline, but my other high is storytelling across the board in the WWE. I think the storytelling in the WWE has been amazing lately. Not only are we getting long-term stories again, but we're also getting stories kind of interwoven with each other, which I really enjoy as well. So you have the whole Liv, Dom, and Rhea love triangle, taking over Monday Night Raw. But inside of that, we also have the potential downfall of the Judgment Day with Finn Balor and JD McDonough and Damian Priest and that whole story as well. So it's kind of like a side story within the main story, which I really enjoy. You have the Bloodline 2.0 story with Solo Sikoa creating his own bloodline against, Cody Rhodes, Kevin Owens, and Randy Orton. But within that story, you have the potential of Randy Orton turning on Cody Rhodes and going after the title himself, and then Roman Reigns coming back, and what's he going to do with the, to fight off this new bloodline? Is we're going to get the OG bloodline back together? The women's title story on SmackDown with Nia Jax and Tiffany Stratton forming a little bit of an alliance to take on Bayley, and Bayley still has Naomi in her corner who could turn. Jade Cargill and Bianca are still partners, but they could turn on each other at any minute. Raw, you have the Wyatt Six doing their thing with Chad Gable, who has this thing going on with the Creeds, but he still has the Alpha Academy. You even have non-title feuds like Sheamus and Pete Dunne are now feuding in a story that doesn't have the championship. You have CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. That storytelling has been superb, and these guys haven't even had a match yet. I just think the storytelling in WWE has been so good lately. And like we talked about this a minute ago, but Raw used to drag on for 3 hours, and now I feel like it flies by because of their good storytelling from beginning to end on the show. That flows naturally, it flows a lot better. And I know there's people out there that love good wrestling matches, and they believe that stories are only told in the ring, but I think stories are told both in and out of the ring. And lately, WWE stories outside of the ring have been compelling, and it's led to great matches inside the ring as well. So I'm going to say storytelling across the board in WWE. Non-title, title matches, factions, you name it. It's been great stuff. And I didn't even mention what's going on in NXT, but it's all good stuff.
Which is also amazing. Yeah, man, I can't disagree with that. That's a facts on facts. It's so good that AEW had to bring back MJF, had to rush him into a title, had to they're starting to do storylines now. They brought out Maria May and Tony Storm already. They are like, holy crap, we're falling apart because WWE is killing it. I agree. And I think I can now say that this is the greatest era of WWE ever. I think I'm going to say it. I think the Attitude Era will always have the most Hall of Famers. Maybe not. But the Attitude Era, just like I was telling when I do my top fives, and everybody's like, you forgot Bucky Joe from AEW in 1947. Without him, there wouldn't have been a Brock Lesnar. I can't just because it was first doesn't mean it's better. And I think when you just look at the overall, just because Attitude Era was done so tasteless, that this is the best era in wrestling ever. I think I can say that now. And I think all you people on TikTok and social media, all you do is bitch and moan and complain, and AEW is better, WWE is better. No, this is like, be grateful. Be grateful. The only reason why I would say Attitude Era is better, because I do feel like WCW in its prime was better than what AEW is easily. So when it was WCW and WWE with the NWO and stuff, I mean, nothing truly beat that. That might still be the best ever, but this is the best just overall era time. I'm digging it. I think I can say that now. So yeah, I fully agree with you. Yes, sir. I got to hit you with the swerve. Ready?
Go for it, man. Bring it.
I had one on here, but you didn't talk about something you said you wanted to talk about. So I think you might have it on a low. So I'm going to save it so I can debunk you on it without ruining it now for you. So I'm going to throw it out here. You know who I want to say is a high, who I had it on here and I didn't think I'd bring him up?
Who's that?
My high is Adam Pearce. And here's why. Adam Pearce was a GM with Sonya Deville, and no one gave two shits about him. And he had to fire Sonya Deville just for whatever reason, because she was ready to go back. And he ran both shows, sort of, kind of, not really. And people hated him. And then Nick Aldis's handsome Mickey James humping butt walked onto the screen, and everybody really hated Adam Pearce, and everybody was afraid of Nick Aldis, and Roman didn't want to backtalk him, and Adam Pearce was just a bald-headed goofball that nobody gave two shits about. Well, let me rewind you this week in pro wrestling, ladies and gentlemen. While SmackDown is falling apart due to the Bloodline Wolfpack destroying everybody, and Nia Jax and Tiffany and all them, and there's so many things, and people getting beat up, and Chelsea Green with a broken neck and a lawsuit on her hands, where was Nick Aldis, ladies and gentlemen? That's right. Probably at Impact, kissing his little wifey poo. Oh, that's, yes. So let's go to Monday Night Raw. Chaos is happening, and who's in the center of that chaos? My man, my boy Adam Pearce. And not only was he in that chaos, dealing with a meeting with Bo Dallas privately, dealing with Chad Gable accusing him of blah, blah, blah. And he basically told Chad Gable, get a set.
Mm-hmm.
He had a Drew McIntyre, 6'6", 280 pounds of pure freaking muscle and handsome, looking like a modern day Thor. And he tells him to apologize. And he said no. He suspended him again with no blink of the eye. Not only is he a hero in pro wrestling today, he is definitely my high. That guy killed it. He didn't let no guff. Even Braun Breaker, he did slip up with Braun Breaker, but he did get in Braun Breaker's face and say, get the hell out of here. And then Braun was like, I'll show myself out. I didn't say he was the smartest. He wasn't the sharpest tool in the shed. Obviously, as soon as he was like, I'll walk myself out, I was like, well, we'll see him later. But he is holding down the fort. He's not taking a day off to go kiss his wife on Impact. He's holding it down. Nick Aldis, you can learn a thing or two. Adam Pearce, my high for the week.
That's a underrated sleeper high. I like that
Thank
one a
you.
lot. That's a good
Thank
one.
you.
And because Adam Pearce was looked at as a joke, and when he was like managing both shows, and he was drafting against himself, and like it was just all this weird stuff, and but no, he has really. I feel like he's come into his own as a true authority figure. Talk about another person who has gotten more and more comfortable in front of the crowd and in front of wrestlers, and he's not afraid to be the bad. He's not afraid to be the good guy. He's not afraid to be a bad guy. I feel like he's a fair general manager to a degree. Yep. And yeah, I think I like that he told CM Punk to stay home, and CM Punk actually listened. Yep. There's all kinds of stuff that he's done. So yeah, I like that high a lot. That's a good one.
All right. Now it's time for the lows. Let's hear it. You're number one. Just get it out of the way. Let's get it out now. Go ahead.
Go ahead. I think I'm gonna surprise you. But my low is this NXT TNA partnership. I'm sorry. Like I know everybody loves it. I know that it's like the talk of the town on the social media sphere and how great it is, but I don't like it. I really don't. I may be the only one in the universe who doesn't like this at all. I just don't see how it's benefiting TNA whatsoever. We're not getting any of the other stars from TNA on NXT television, and then we're not sending any of the good stars over from NXT to TNA. We're just getting Joe Hendry on TNA the last couple of weeks, and then we had the Rascals reunite for a match this week. But and I think Wesley's going to be at the next TNA pay-per-view with the Rascals in a 6-man match or something. But it's really just Joe Hendry thing. That's the thing that's like doesn't make any sense to me. 1 minute he's in the battle royal and he's eliminated first after about 10 seconds. And then he's pissed at Shawn Michaels and he's going to confront him. And then he comes back last week and he's Trick Williams' partner in the main event and even gets a pinfall on Shawn Spears. And then this week he's messing around with Gallus. Like, what's the point of all this? That's what I just don't see what the point of it is. Is it just to get him on TV? Is it to get him exposure? But like, where's the continuity? Where's the story? Like, why is he messing around with Gallus? Is because they don't believe and he needs them to believe. Like, it's just, it's stupid. It really is. And then, like if they're, I really wish personally that if they're going to do some sort of, partnership with TNA, do it right, man. Like I would love to see like an invasion angle of some sort with ex WWE talent like Dolph Ziggler and the Hardy Boys and Mustafa Ali and Top Dollar and whoever else you can think of that's in TNA at the moment.
Even Bubba Ray. Let's have Bully Ray come out. I don't like. Let's
have them all return and invade NXT and destroy it like Nexus style, and then kind of do the whole storyline like you fired us, so we're here to destroy you angle, and then I'd be all in on this. But agree. I don't think we're getting anything like that. I feel like I would absolutely love it if we were, but I think we're. Whatever it is we are getting, I'm just not liking it. And then they're not putting any of the NXT titles on the TNA people. We learned that with Jordan Grace, where Joe Hendry's not going to be an NXT champion anytime soon. And this partnership just feels very one-sided and benefits only the WWE. And if this is how it's going to be, then I think TNA is better off just being a standalone promotion and not having this partnership. So that's one of my lows for this week is this NXT TNA partnership. I don't see what everybody loves about it.
I haven't seen anyone say they love it. You obviously do. We get different algorithms. I don't get it at all. I'm on board with you
I just
fully.
see everyone talking about how great Joe Hendry is and how
Yes, I
fantastic
see
he is,
that.
and on NXT and how it's cinema.
No.
I'm like, no, it's not.
Oh gosh, Gen Zers, man. No, once again, no offense to age, but y'all are driving me nutsos with your words and everything is
They've
everything.
killed the word.
Everything isn't everything.
They've killed
Yeah,
the
like
words aura and cinema
yes.
and banger. It's just like, come on now.
Yes, it's
Like,
we
yeah,
gotta stop. We gotta
yeah.
stop. But here's the thing. I agree with you. The invasion angle. Imagine Joe Hendry coming on and after they beat down, even adding Tommy Dreamer, Bully Ray, having Dolph Ziggler, having other people who are up and comers in TNA, having Moose, having these people come
Go
in
get
and
like
just
AJ
beat down
Styles and be like, what side is he on? And
anything. Yes,
yeah,
yeah. But that's what I'm saying. But having them, and then imagine the next week on NXT, Joe Hendry has a mic, and he's like, "I'm sick of this. We are a better show than Raw. Yet we are being told that your guys' C-level NXT is better than us. We're going to show you we're better than you, and we're going to invade, and we're going to attack your guys. We're going to come at Ethan Page or Trick Williams, whoever. Imagine that, but no. Instead, we get, "Hey guys, have you Joe Hendry?" Boom. You still would say my name?
yeah.
Da-da-da-da-da.
And then
Like,
he's
were
on,
you like you do? Are you a genie? Like,
yeah, he's
it's
on
so.
commentary and yeah, but like
Oh God, it was
his appearances
awful.
just aren't making any sense. I mean, he's Trick Williams' partner just last week, and this week,
Uh-huh.
no, he's not even with Trick. He doesn't talk
No,
to Trick. He's not even in the
no,
world title picture. He's not going after
no.
Ethan Page or anything. He's going after Gallus, and it's just,
Mhm.
what are we doing? Like, I'm sorry, this is
It's
bad. Yeah,
it, and like you said, it's not a good partner. It's only partnering. It's only benefiting WWE because here's the thing. Once have you seen? Oh, Joe Hendry from TNA. Oh, Joe Hendry from TNA. Thursday nights on Access. Oh, let me show like
no,
an.
not
There has
once.
been
Yeah,
nothing. So how the hell is this? Just like having Santi and Wheezy air show TNA. Has that helped their ratings? No. Like people, because now they're just gonna watch it through them because they get to air it on their damn screen. Like it's
yeah,
like TNA is like trying to get more publicity, but doing it incorrectly. They're not doing it the right way. If you want them to get people on your eyeballs, don't let them show it. Give them reasons to do it. Here's some money or here's some kickback or whatever. Everybody who tunes into your thing and subscribes gets money, but having them show it on their thing, all you're doing is popularity Wheezy and
yeah,
Santi and them. So it doesn't make any sense. Just the same thing giving them Joe Hendry. You're giving them your biggest star for free.
yeah.
It makes no sense to me. It
I
makes
know.
no sense at all.
I don't get it. And I'd argue he's
Um,
not even their biggest star. That's the
He is not. That's the
yeah.
thing. He's not bigger than anything. I'm going to talk about the Joe Hendry of WWE, and that's of Monday Night Raw, and that's Jey Uso. Let me tell you what my low Jey freaking Uso. I am one of the biggest Uso fans in the world. I got attacked on a TikTok that I posted where I put the Usos in the top 5 greatest tag teams of all time. I was called all sorts of names. I think even my mom was insulted. I don't even have a mom. I have got attacked for supporting the Usos. I've always been a Bloodline fan, always support my Usos. But Jey Usos, not only was this guy living off of like a Joe Hendry, just off a song and doing his like, then now he's running away from the White Six like a little baby. He was a front runner to Money in the Bank. He didn't win it. And so what does he do next? He shows up to Damian Priest, who's now all of a sudden buddy with him. And he's like, yo, I heard mommy's single, fam. Call me, give me a call, bro. And then he goes out there and beats Dom, sort of, and then like gives like a to Rhea Ripley. Like, what are we doing with Jey? This guy is Jey main event Uso. Now he's a light show who has no direction and is going nowhere. This dude is on a climb down. If he's not about to join the bloodline to help them defeat the new bloodline, I don't know what the hell we're doing with Jey. This guy's about to fall off the mat. People can only cheer for him so long with their cell phones. I'm just saying, you got to give him something. This ain't it. I don't care what anybody says. If you thought him flirting with Rhea was cool, it was not.
Yeah.
It was a huge miss for me.
That's not cool.
I don't get. Yeah, that's not cool. Agreed.
Well said. I mean, I've got nothing to add to that. Jey Uso has been an absolute joke over the last few months, and I don't like it. I don't like what they're doing to him because he can do it. The man can be serious. The promo, the feud he had with his brother was great. I mean, it was good stuff in the build up to it. I know the match kind of was lackadaisical, but the promos and stuff, and the stuff with the bloodline and everything like that. I mean, it's all been good stuff, but yeah, ever since then, it's just fallen off and taken a nosedive.
I agree. I fully agree. And it's sad because he could have been a main event. I want him to beat Roman when they wrestled. That's how much I believe in him.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I did too. All right.
All right, what's your last low?
My last low is I'm still gonna surprise you with this one. But my last low is SmackDown and Fox. The last few weeks. So I feel like we were just talking about how great Monday Night Raw has been, and how, you know, the last couple of episodes have just really flowed naturally, and they haven't felt like, you know, 3 hours hasn't felt like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it's 3 hours. It's more like, oh man, that 3 hours went by quick. I feel like the last probably couple of months of SmackDown have just been, they just haven't been as great. They just haven't been hitting. And not just with SmackDown, but it's Fox too, with the black screen of death whenever they're censoring the fans, or whenever they're chanting things and they censor it, or they bleep the audio so you can't hear it for 45 seconds at a time. And you know, it makes you think, oh, something's wrong with my television, and let me turn my volume up, let me fix my volume settings. And it's not, it's just Fox being, you know, there was one episode a few weeks ago where I think maybe we saw like 40% of SmackDown, and the rest of it was like 60% blacked out because they kept censoring everything. And, you know, I think it led to some frustration backstage. But just lately, man.
Okay, so that's just not my screen. I always think it's because I DVR it and I'm watching it.
Yeah, it's like it's happening to everybody. Yeah, it's like because the fans are chanting things like asshole. And they're chanting things like this is bullshit, or they're chanting things like or like whenever they're in like foreign countries and they're chanting stuff, just chant, they censor it out. Or if the wrestlers are swearing, like when The Rock is out there and he's cutting, you know, he's like, oh, you stupid bitch, you know, this half of the audience is going to chant you are, this half of the audience is going to chant an asshole.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, and it was like you are
it was the worst.
It was so bad. And it's because of Fox. And so over the last few weeks, I mean, it's just been really, really bad. This last episode was just awful. And it just feels like the WWE has been kind of phoning it in with SmackDown. Maybe it's because they know they're leaving Fox and moving it to USA in the next few months, and Raw, which is moving to Netflix and is currently on USA, which is going to continue hosting SmackDown. Raw's just been on fire lately. But SmackDown's it just hasn't been bringing it. It's been extremely hard to watch. And usually it's the quickest watch of the 3 shows, but this week in particular just felt very, very random with the Apollo Crews and Baron Corbin tag team. The ending segment was bad. It just felt the last couple of episodes of SmackDown have been bad. And I know that Roman Reigns and The Rock can come back and add some intrigue to it. Charlotte Flair's on the mend and is probably coming back and will add some intrigue. But I don't know since then, but you know, until then, it feels like SmackDown is back to being the B show.
Yeah, I wonder if Fox is doing it on purpose because they know they're leaving. So they're like, because I don't remember that happening before on Fox. So like I said, there's been times where they're just like walking out from the intro, and it just like goes black, and then it pops back up, and I'm like, what the heck is happening?
It's because like I remember there was one episode with The Rock where he didn't even like do anything, and every time they like showed this, it was like somebody had a sign in the crowd. And every time they pan to like that particular angle, they like black the screen out because the sign was offensive. But it wasn't even that offensive. It was like The Rock. It was like, it said like Rocky sucks or die Rocky die is what it said.
I remember that. Yeah.
And it was just like, wait, what? Like that's what we're censoring die Rocky die. Like I don't know. It just feels like it could be a sign. It could be a fan being obnoxious. It could be the fans just chanting something. It could be the wrestlers themselves. But yeah, it's just been bad, really, really bad, and almost unwatchable.
I agree. All right, my last one comes from SmackDown, so it's pretty good. My last low, A-Town Down Under.
That's
not only losing clean again, but just I think I talked about this a couple of weeks ago. For some reason, we were talking about, you know, just the fact that they won at WrestleMania, had this huge moment. People were digging the fact that we were going to run with these 2 young guns, and Theory and Grayson Waller, who kind of had no direction. They got the titles. Their title belts are probably the cleanest championship titles in all of professional wrestling, including AEW as great belts. And what do they do with him? Literally nothing. Then have him lose the DIY clean, not even like a Grayson Waller turn, which people thought was going to happen. So what do? They followed up with an instant rematch the following week, which was this past week on SmackDown, thinking, here comes the Grayson Waller turn, and they get squashed. Literally no care in the world. Then Jacob Fatu comes out. They don't even have time to, what the hell are we talk about? Poor Austin Theory. How many times have we had an Austin Theory conversation on this podcast? And if he's being buried, that's air quotes, or not, you know what I mean? Because it's like, do you believe in this guy or do you not? I'm so confused. And Grayson Waller and Theory were so fun. They were two young chicken shit heels. And then it looked like Theory was going to turn babyface, which might work for him if Grayson Waller is going to turn, because Grayson Waller is great as a heel. And now what? Are you going to do it next week? Maybe, I don't know. I just feel like the ball's been dropped, and then you have them get squashed by a team who gets beat up by one dude. It's just a weird. I don't know what's going on with A-Town Down, but those poor guys, I could not imagine their night after Mania. They're celebrating, popping champagne, hooking up with hookers, and then all of a sudden they have no idea that like in 6 months, 4 and 5 months, they're going to do absolutely nothing with it, only to just drop them to DIY.
Yeah. I don't understand. The only thing that's interesting about this is potentially Austin Theory turning babyface, but even then, is that necessary? Do I want that? Is that going to work? I don't know. I don't have my hopes. I don't feel like it is going to work, but we'll see. I mean, Triple H has done things before that he can bring that he's been a heel his entire run, so maybe it's time to freshen him up. But other than that, I mean, this tag team has been a complete disappointment for sure.
I agree. All right, that's our segment of highs and lows, and now we have a new thing we're going to do every single episode, WWE and AEW, something that Ryan Enjoys Wrestling created just this afternoon. And after our segments, we're going to do a new thing where we're going to get rid of where we do the best of the shows. And we are going to do an MVD and an LVD. And if you wonder what that stands for, is there's one thing here on Two Dudes with Attitudes we love, whether it be two thumbs, two whatever, it's the most valuable dude / dudette or the least valuable dude or dudette. So we're going to do one from each. We're going to do just one hole for the week, but I thought, no, let's give AEW respect and WWE respect. Then we don't have to pick and choose between them. So we're going to go one each with this. That's how we're going to end every segment or every episode moving forward. What do you got, Ryan? Who do you got? Who's your number one?
Should we do least valuable first or most valuable first? And
we should start with the low. Yeah, let's start with least. Yeah.
Okay.
Least valuable dude or dudette. So, go ahead. Who's your least valuable dude or dudette?
So I chose
week.
For both of mine, I chose guys. But I'm gonna say my least valuable dude for this week is Jey Uso. I mean, everything you said in your low. I didn't say much about it because I was saving it for this, but I just feel like he's the most unserious wrestler we have right now. I mean, the man lost the world heavyweight title or his world heavyweight title match at Backlash to a heel Damian Priest because of Judgment Day. And he comes out the next day and he's yeeting. And then he loses at Money in the Bank, right? And he comes out and he's yeeting. He loses qualifying matches for King of the Ring and he's doing yeet. He doesn't win Money in the Bank and he's yeeting the next week in running away from the Wyatt Six. And this week he's trying to get with Rhea Ripley. I was excited about his singles run, but it's officially been a dud. And everything that's happened this week for me was really, really stupid. I just wish he would be a little bit more serious, like he was in the feud with his brother. It just like he was so serious in those feuds, and I think it meant more. And he came across as a credible, like, okay, future main eventer. This guy can do it. His promos are great. He's super over with the crowd too, and he's moving merchandise like there's nobody's business. But it just like there was even a vignette this week of him talking to Kathy Kelly backstage about getting Rhea Ripley's phone number. I just don't know what they're doing. Like he's just super unserious. Like I don't know. If there's anybody who needs the bloodline back, it's certainly Jey Uso.
For real.
So, I feel like that's going to bring him back to the promised land. And I was hoping that he would kind of break away from that and kind of break off on his own, but it's just not working for me. So I'm going to say least valuable dude this week is Jey Uso.
You would think we'd be matching on our first ever episode, but I think I had a different one written down. I'm going to stick to it. And my first ever one, I'm already going to throw your system all
Go for it.
wacky. I have a least valuable dudes, and that is
Oh,
two
okay.
dudes. That is A-Town Down Under. I am sorry, but who can fill any least important, valuable, anything other than these two men right now? I've already stated it. I don't got to get into it again. I just talked about them,
Yeah,
but
I like that.
talk about popping champagne to just being squashed by a team that's about to get their butts kicked instantly by Jacob Fatu alone. Holy, like, where do you go? They were just hosting the Grayson Waller effect with like Cody and big names and
Logan
Kevin
Paul.
and
They were with Logan Paul.
and
Yeah.
What happened to that team? Remember Logan and them two were like a faction for a half. Like,
Yeah.
holy cow, man! Talk about Triple H just not believing in any of them, but not believing in theory. I don't know what's happening, but yeah, these valuable dudes, A-Town Down Under. Sorry, guys.
No, yeah, that's a good pick. That's a solid pick. That's a solid pick. So, for all the reasons we've already talked about.
All right, let's end on a positive. I like the positive. So, most valuable dude or dudette, who do you got?
So I was torn on this one. So I'm gonna do runner up. I'm not always gonna do runner up, but Jacob Fatu was the one I was torn on the most. I mean, the way he looks and like WWE was apparently worried that he was going to outshine Solo, and I feel like he's done exactly that since he's been here. I mean, this man looks the part and is so credible, and it's just he just moves so smoothly for a big man. It's incredible to see. But he is not my MVD this week. My most valuable dude is Eric Rowan. After that video,
there it is.
Yeah. And I'm going to be honest, man, like when they first told us we were getting another videotape segment, I was like, seriously, again?
I said they were done last week. Remember? I was like, well, that's it.
Yeah. And this would have been like the third or fourth week in a row that they've done this. And it just was feeling repetitive. I was just not looking forward to it. And then they showed us the tape, and I saw when I saw it was an interview with Eric Rowan, I was kind of interested again. And then like, man, that was tough to get through. But not in like a bad way. It was just very, very emotional. He talked about Brody Lee. He talked about Bray Wyatt's passing and talked about how he's the only one left. He talked about his own mortality. And if anybody would remember him when he passed, he said, like, I'm just Rowan, like, who cares about me? And that felt very real. He talked about falling down a well and how he didn't want to get out and he was numb to the world. He asked who would miss him. That's the part that got me, right? Like, it was just like, you start questioning your own mortality, and it's like, would anybody really care if I'm gone? Would people miss me? I don't have any of my friends or my family here anymore. I'm not gonna lie, I may have shed a tear or two during this. And I like that he tied in the current iteration of the Wyatt Six with his personal loss and talked about Uncle Howdy reaching out to him and offering him a beacon of hope and how they're going to take some broken hearts and make some beautiful art. And I love this video package, and, because it was real and it was pure and it was raw and it was emotional, and it left me wanting so much more. And, I'm very curious about what they're going to do, because they talked about broken hearts. And so I'm curious about what happens with Joe Gacy, Dexter Lumis, and Nikki Cross, and how they got involved with the Wyatt Six. And I can't wait to see more videos like this in the future. But this video package, vignette, promo, whatever you want to call it, it was emotional. It was not something I was expecting from somebody like Rowan. But I mean, because of this, he gets my MVD of the week, most valuable dude. I mean, I thought it was a perfect way to reintroduce him to the WWE fans.
I'm glad you brought it up, because I was waiting for my high, and then you surprised me by not putting them at your lows. I didn't think about this. I don't know. I didn't think that far. I'm glad you loved it. I loved it. I thought it was magnificent. I like that whoever was interviewing them this time, it might not have been Uncle Howdy. Maybe it was him with his alter ego. I have no idea, but he threw him a sheet mask and he like held it. He seems like he's going to be a one-off, but who knows? Maybe they're going to give him 2 or 3 each. But I like that if they're going to do everybody, which we predicted and said they should have. I like that they started off with the 2 people who had relations to Bray. So his brother, 100%. Then his crew member. Now let's end with the other guys to see why they're in it. Why did a Dexter Lumis? Are they going to talk about, well, we were already in the funhouse and then he passed away and now we're here. Now we were left alone and this family came together to what are they going to do? Right. And so I like right now what we have is loss, outcasts. No one cares about these people, so they're banding together. I love it. That video was,
Yeah.
and I did like the shrug too because I was like, Bobo, it's already like
And they went to the
getting
Pat
called out
McAfee
by
show to
Chad.
do it.
Yeah, and I was like, oh my god. And then I hate when they go to the Pat McAfee show because nobody else cares about wrestling, and the other guys are like, what is it, a head? I guess it's a dead head in there,
Yeah, I know, it's so
right?
stupid.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's some stupid wrestling. Oh, cut. All right, yeah, let's
Yeah.
cut because
Like you can
WWE's
tell, like
paying for
AJ
us.
Hawk doesn't. Yeah, he like
No, it was
no.
so stupid. I'm like, why are we doing this? But nonetheless, cannot take away from Eric Rowan. Holy cow. I mean, yeah, I love it. And now I'm even more intrigued because now I do want to see if Dexter's going to talk, if Joe
Yeah.
Gacy's going to talk, if Nikki
And
Cross even does talk. I mean, it's just so intriguing.
yeah, and I'll say this: like, I thought this segment, this package, was way better than Chad Gable and then beating down Bo Dallas. I thought this was.
Okay.
I enjoyed this part of it a lot more than I enjoyed the Bo Dallas stuff. And I didn't. It's not that I didn't enjoy the Bo Dallas stuff. I just like this so much more.
I'm good with that. All right. I got to keep it true, man. My most valuable dude has to go to Rhea Ripley. Mommy, I'm sorry. I know you were loving it, but dude, just seeing Mommy officially back on my damn screen. I know I said I like Living Dom more, and I still do, but it doesn't mean you can't take my Mommy away from me.
Oh, she looked
missed her.
She looked bomb.
Oh, she was a damn smoke show. I thought she was great. I love that she played Dom the entire time, only to then be like, here you go. That's because you're mine. And I just loved it because there's a swerve coming or a swerve coming. I don't know. Just her threatening Liv got me all hot and bothered. Just everything about her, man. And to be honest, there's not many people nowadays in pro wrestling, new people. I'm not talking about like Stone Cold or if someone shows up The Rock. I'm talking about like modern day people who come out that have any type of feel like Roman Reigns. When Roman Reigns comes into the ring, people shut up. People look, no matter how much people dogged him the entire time. No, when Roman, I don't care if you're MJF, Kenny Omega, Will Ospreay, Seth Rollins, that aura, there it is, the aura.
Mm-hmm.
It just, his presence alone just makes you just stop in awe. I'm going to say it right here. The only other person who's even close to Roman is Rhea Ripley. She walks out and that crowd is just like, she's a presence, man. She just looks like that. You just want to see her, be her, touch her, and not in that way. You just want to like be her. You're just like, oh my God, it's Rhea Ripley. Like you get nervous. It just is so damn good. I just loved it. Just her just being all over Raw. I was like, man, I miss her so much. I'm glad she's back. I can't wait to see her hopefully ready by SummerSlam. And boy, I'm going to need during our watch along a towel and some whole bunch of other things during her and Liv Morgan's match. But holy shit, man. Like my MVP, most valuable dude has to go to Rhea Ripley.
Yeah, that's a solid pick. And, I'm happy to see her back. I thought her promo was great. She's a star. I love one of the things, I know we talk about this, the camera angles, but the camera angle with her entrance, walking in through the gorilla position, good stuff. I mean, that they do that for the stars, and I can't wait for Roman to come back and they do that to him. So we can kind of see what he's doing because his entrance is long. But man, like Rhea Ripley, she is a star, and this week just proved it. I thought that's a solid pick. For Mommy being back.
And really quick, I know we're like 30 minutes over our normal episode. This WWE's been going long. I'd have to say, you brought up that shot. Okay. I feel you. I get it. But I don't know. I saw it again this week, and a part of me is kind of over it.
I am too.
Cool, but you're doing it every week. And I don't like that they keep showing the gorilla. This week we had like a referee sitting like, this is why I still haven't watched. I still haven't watched the behind the curtain yet of WrestleMania. I don't. Well, not just that it sucks, but like I don't want to. Like I've always wanted to be behind the curtain, and I feel like once I'm behind the curtain, I don't want to be there anymore. I barely even watched the Bret Hart stuff with Vince. I just always like I've seen clips and this and that, but I've always just been like I don't want to see just Triple H standing next to Owen Hart and hanging out. And I don't know. I don't want to get taken out of it. And now just seeing Hunter behind, and I'm like, you're just showing me too much. I don't like when I watch How I Met Your Mother, I don't want to see the audience and the director while I'm watching the episode. Like, I don't want to see it. And this is a show I want to be taken into, like, it's not real, right?
Yep.
Like, this is real life. And I'm sick of it. And if you can do that angle, like, I like the Jey Uso and Sami Zayn ones, like the ones where they go through the crowd up through.
Yeah, I like
those are dope.
Yeah.
Those, I want Roman like that. I want Roman like coming from, like, I don't want or move gorilla. Like, I don't like constantly seeing everybody and all the producers and writers and refs just sitting there, like, in their, like, ready to go positions. I'm surprised I didn't see Dominik, like Dirty Dom, waiting on the side with Liv. Like, oh, don't get us. We're
sorry.
coming up soon. We got to be in our shot. I don't like it. I'm over it. But I do. It does feel like the stars get the back shot. I do
agree with that. That was actually gonna be my other low, was Triple H, and that was gonna be one of the reasons. Just giving us too much behind the scenes stuff, and we're getting a little too much Triple H on our screens, and not for his booking. His booking's been fantastic. It's more just, he's on pre-show, post-show. He's doing all these weird camera angles, and he's, we're seeing a lot of Triple H on our screens, and we're seeing him in Gorilla. We're seeing him, he's making comments about, oh, we're gonna have surprises at Money in the Bank, and then we don't get any surprises at Money in the Bank. It's just like, but I do agree. We're getting a little too much of this camera angle, but I liked it this week with Rhea, just because it was Rhea. But if they do it again next week, I'm not going to like it as much.
Yeah, and they do it every week. But I'm always okay with the backside view of Rhea Ripley. But anyway, all right. That was our week of WWE with our new segment. We hope you guys enjoyed it, like it. Thank you again for tuning in always to our WWE edition. We love you guys. All the little fans we got out there, keep them coming. We had an awesome one where somebody hit us up on TikTok after listening to our Spotify on a lunch break and commented on something I said, making fun of nerdy John Cena fans. I love it. Shout out to you. Shout out to anybody who is just, it was surreal to know that somebody takes time on their lunch break to listen to us talk, especially when you can't even see the $1 million faces. I don't know what you're wasting your time on, but still, I respect it and I love it. It was really, really cool knowing that somebody out there in another state that I have no idea who it is listens to us talk, and it was really, really cool. So cheers to that. But also, we got AEW going on tomorrow. Make sure to tune in and listen to that and look out for that episode. We are going to do a watch along for SummerSlam for Sheezy, so already pencil it in. We want you there. We'll post more about it and make sure you guys know so we don't leave you in the dark, but watch along for SummerSlam. As always, if you just want to catch me, HBD Denton on all my normal social medias, please go view it, because I only get about 200 to 500 every video now. My thousands, I used to hit thousands like it was nothing. Now I couldn't even get there if I wanted to, but look at it. It's good stuff, and I try to keep it different than I do on my podcast, as always. And with me is the man, the producer, the guy who comes up with all the cool segments.
It's Ryan Enjoys Wrestling. I will be back on social media this week. I got some stuff posting tomorrow. So go follow me on the TikToks, and go follow me on Instagram and all the other social media platforms. Hit us up on Two Dudes with Attitudes on TikTok at Two Dudes with Attitudes, and then at Two Dudes PC on X. And then we appreciate all of our audio listeners as well. So go rate us and review us and leave us some love there. Apple, Spotify, anywhere, but show us some love, and we appreciate all the support. We're blowing up, and this is 2024, man. It's the year of the dudes. We're gonna be the MVDs by the end of the year.
Two dudes with
yes. Two dudes Wolfpack.
It's the two dudes and the attitudes ruthless, aggressively speaking. So let's do this. We're Ryan and Denton. They here to get your attention. The 5-star broadcast shit, start to the ending. Whether it's the E or it's all E, the two dudes with the attitudes that bring the heat. Get the point, yeah, it's on, time to lock in. Listen to the podcast where they get it poppin'.